welcome back to Exposed. Before the break, we were discussing how youth are hard at accepting criticism, and a youth in Kahnawake who submitted an anti-tobacco law has been receiving a fair amount of criticism in the past few months. And we have that youth, Agunhise White, with us in studio today.
Welcome.
So, welcome to the show, and thanks for coming on.
No problem, no problem.
Still on criticism, how do you deal with that criticism?
For myself, I just take in the criticism and just accept it. One of the things in life that seems to be the easiest to do is always to tell somebody how they're being negative and what they're doing wrong, and they list them out alphabetically or however they feel that this is all wrong, and do it this way, or something of the sort. So for myself, I'm just taking in this criticism, processing it, and then just going on with my life.
So what was your reasoning behind submitting the anti-tobacco law?
So, quite a few months ago, sometime in the summer, I was just driving down to 132, and I happened to notice that there was one cigarette store after another, after another, after another. And they were just sort of all next to each other, and it just really disturbed me. Because a long time ago, or at least in one point in the history of Kahnawake, we were known as the people of the Flint. And this nefarious trade has seemed to change that completely. We are no longer the people of the Flint. If you ask people who are outside of the community, Kahnawake seems to have a high reputation as people who are involved in cigarettes.
That's true. How do you think the youth feel towards the tobacco industry?
So maybe about a month ago, I was at one of the Kahnawake Youth Forum meetings, and that topic was actually discussed there in depth with myself and 30 other youth in the room. And unfortunately, not one of them seemed to take my side, and they were all sort of focusing in on how we would lose the monetary benefits of the cigarette store.
Well, that's basically what it is. It's just monetary. It creates a lot of jobs, first of all, and it's a huge part of our economy.
So you were quoted in the Eastern Door a few weeks ago about being aware of the benefits that the industry offers to the community. To you, what qualifies as those benefits?
Well, for one, there's the monetary benefits, and of course there's the employment opportunities. I mean, if you just need a job, there's a cigarette store all over the place. They're just sort of blossoming all over the community, and they're just filling it. But myself, there's other pros to it, such as employment for younger students or etc. But unfortunately, these pros are sort of outweighed by the cons.
Can you elaborate on that?
Of course. Some of the cons being that these monetary benefits are only momentary. They're not deeply rooted to ensure a safe and happy retirement. Not only that, they encourage mismanagement techniques, such as elaborate spending and immediate satisfaction for many adults, which is sort of a trait that's common in children. Don't we agree?
I wouldn't necessarily agree, but so what do you think the negatives of the industry are? And you kind of
I sort of just mentioned one. There are many others. For example, I mentioned that they do employ the younger portion of the community. However, when people sort of get into this mentality where they can just lie back on cigarette stores instead of school, it sort of puts that into their head, and that mentality sticks with them through their life. And as soon as somebody hits 18, 19 years old, they think, oh, this is it, I'm done, I can go and have a cigarette store now. And this sort of inhibits the pursuit of higher education for these young people.
Okay. So you were, as you mentioned already, the monetary benefits of the industry. Obviously, if this proposal would go through, there are consequences, and how do you feel about those consequences? And as in, there's a lot of people who depend on the cigarette industry currently for employment, and as well as their donations to keep programs afloat, and so how do you feel about those possibly?
Okay, so those were several questions. Let's tackle the main one. The main one was that you said that the cigarette trade provides donations to all kinds of different community-funded projects. Unfortunately, though, not every cigarette store seems to provide. Not everybody is as generous as those 1, 2, 3, I really don't know how many stores do. So that was the main thing. What else did you say?
Well, if it's illegal to manufacture and distribute cigarettes, that's a lot of people employed in that industry that will lose their jobs and perhaps not have an education to fall back on. That unemployment rate will obviously go up, welfare rates may go up. So how do you feel about, creating those consequences?
For myself, the community seems to think that, oh my God, one day, as soon as this goes through the process, that's it, it's done, no more cigarettes, we're all out of jobs. That's not true. The logistics of this entire law still have to be reinforced. For example, if we could look at a slow deterioration of all of the stores. So one day will be these stores that will have to be closed, another these ones. Eventually, we try to get rid of it. It's sort of like when you have poison or when you're addicted to something. You can't just one day stop. It has to go slowly.
So do you think that the community is aware of that process? Because, like what you've been saying, from most people I've been talking to, it's just like, well, a law will pass, and then it's like, well, we're going like cold turkey.
I don't think a lot of people know that, and I keep trying to explain to everybody who asks me these things, what's going to happen, what's going to happen. I'm trying to tell them it's going to be slowly worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have any propositions for any sort of other economic development in Kahnawake?
It's sort of funny you should mention that. I've been asked this question at every single interview that I've been doing, and I sort of like to keep them personal to myself.
Okay.
So what do you think the outcome of this proposal will be? Because obviously there's a strong opposition, and it may only get to the community decision-making process in like a couple of maybe even years, because it's like membership hasn't even been discussed with that process, and we don't know how long it will take and when on the calendar it will be.
So for myself, I am really an optimist, I like to believe in the good in all things, and I like to see the sun on the other side of the mountain. But realistically, as you said, there is a high opposition towards this law. So realistically, it will probably not be passed through. So what this could mean is that the community has their chance to say that at these meetings they want to see that there are only to be 90 cigarette stores or 80 cigarette stores only allowed open at one time. The community has the chance to say that we want to set all of the prices to be the same and we don't want to see any competition. We want it to be one centralized thing. I don't know. It could go either way.
Well, I think that's something that I know like the KTA has been trying to regulate the industry more, and I suppose before you submitted this proposal, what kind of research did you do to help make your decision?
So, for example, I met with the KTA and I've met with the Mohawk Council of Kahnawake, and I have seen what has been done in the past to try and regulate and enforce these different forms and manners of controlling the cigarette trade. But unfortunately, it's all been talk. Nothing has been done. So here we go with a law.
Would you prefer the industry to be regulated or have it be illegal?
Well, obviously, I've proposed a law for it to be illegal, but to be honest, I'd like to see the community happy. So whatever the community agrees on, if the community feels that this is wrong and they agree with me, then that would be wonderful, splendid. But we'll see.
Do you have any last words you'd like to share with our viewers?
I would like to say that just come to the meetings, I guess. Just come and participate, have your say. Everyone has an opinion. It's great that if everybody else could hear it.
All right.
All right, thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And with that, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with more Exposed.